Mike, I am in order now. Do you support ending the Selective Service so that we no longer have a draft? So that we will never again have a draft? I know, I corrected the thing, so that we never again have a draft.
In fact, I do not, for this reason. You know, when I was 18 and I registered to vote and I signed up with the Selective Service, and I thought, well, this means that if there should be a military conflict and I should be called to defend my country, wow, I'm ready to do that. It's something, I think it's an obligation we take. And having made that obligation, having made that ask of our citizens, I think it's fundamental that our government never let that trust be betrayed and never let our U.S. military be used for aggressive imperial purposes. Congress has the role of oversight over that, and they have failed in this. The reason that I think if we had a draft in place, we have not just a few, and essentially we have a selective, we have an economic draft, if you will, going on, but we need to share in that shared sacrifice. We need to all understand that this is a cause that we can all get behind. The entire country can embrace it, like they did in World War II. And without that draft, with what they call an all-volunteer service, I think we've seen the system is ripe for abuse.
Okay. Susan?
I support an all-volunteer army, and what I have fought against is what we have experienced is a backdoor draft in the country. Stop-loss has hurt far, far too many of our men and women who serve and their families. It's very difficult for them to predict. They've served. They've done everything we have asked of them. And so I believe that one of the ways that you address that is to at least have what we call a large enough end strength so that we don't have to go through stop-loss, and that we do have people who do want to serve this country in the military. We shouldn't keep prevailing on those who have already served, and to get rid of this backdoor draft. I think that has been a terrible, terrible problem for this country.
Thank you. Okay. Susan, what is your position on the wall between Mexico and the United States?
Actually, I was down there yesterday trying to bring together the Border Patrol, the EPA, the environmentalists who are down there looking at how we can mitigate the problems of that wall, and the Army Corps of Engineers, because we have a problem to solve down there. Unfortunately, I think that in one form or another, the wall in San Diego is going to take place. I would hope, that that's not a reality for this country. However, I believe that we have to secure our borders. I do support that, but I also support a way that men and women who come to this country to work hard and want to take care of their families, I believe we have to have a way for them to do that. We have to balance our economic needs as well as our humanitarian needs, and I think there is a way to do that. I will work hard to solve the problem here in San Diego, because I don't want to have a problem that's greater than the wall that they're putting up.
Okay. Mike?
Yes, I am strongly opposed to the idea of a wall. This smacks of Duncan Hunter and all that is terrible. Second, anyone who's looked into the construction of this wall has seen that there's no plan to make it contiguous. This is a boondoggle. What is border security? Border security begins with economic security. It begins with political security, not a fence, not a wall. After World War II, we helped rebuild not just our allies, but our previous enemies with the Marshall Plan. And now they are trading partners. What we need is a Marshall Plan to trade with our neighbors to the south. We need to use the United States' economic leverage, our incredible power for free trade, to lift everyone up. And then we wouldn't have to be having this discussion about walls and fences and security and militarization in Blackwater. All of that is to the side. Let's reinvest in our neighbors to the south, this border region. Let's lift everyone up.
Mike, would you repeal the Military Commission Act and restore habeas corpus?
In a single word, yes.
Susan?
Yes. Let me.
I have voted when every opportunity that I have to keep habeas corpus and to vote against the Bush and his FISA program. I have been really a strong supporter of being certain that the message that we send with any kind of a military commission, tribunal, respects the way we would want our men and women to be treated. They will not be treated the way we want them to be treated if we don't know how to treat those with whom we bring in captivity. This is something that is very important to me, and I have worked hard within the Armed Services Committee to fight for. We would all like to do away with all of these problems, but while we have to deal with them, there is a way to do that, and I've supported that.
Okay. Susan, what are your views on the possibility of our country attacking Iran?
Well, only Congress has the ability to declare war on Iran. And I have voted repeatedly to affirm that. We still, of course, need to move everything through the Congress and, of course, to get it signed by the President. But at this time, I think that you will find that there are a large number of us who feel that way and have voted on that. What I think is critical, and this again speaks to Bush's foreign policy. What is his Iran policy? I don't think any of us know that. If he were doing what he should have been doing, we would have been working on the diplomatic front. We would have been partnering with China and Russia to deal with this problem. Nobody wants Iran having nuclear weapons, but at the same time, there are diplomatic approaches, and this administration has not taken any of them. There are a lot of us who are working hard to change that. Thank you.
Mike.
Yes, I'd like to point out that there was an amendment to a bill called the DeFazio Amendment that would have forbade any preemptive military strike against Iran, and Representative Davis voted against that. It's of great concern, when we've looked back and we've reviewed this out-of-control executive branch that is perfectly willing to make up any possible lie, feeling that they are immune above the law and get away with it, and to see their saber rattling there against Iran. And I think if this Congress, this Democratic majority Congress who you voted in, we all voted them in 2006, had done the right thing and begun challenging them, had begun impeachment proceedings, we would not be having this discussion about having to pass special legislation to forbid them from attacking Iran. You know, you fooled us once, don't fool us again. So this is a failure, I think, of leadership from our Congress to give a rubber stamp to leave this criminal administration in office, to put us in this position, to put our troops at risk.